Hello everyone. Today our topic is structure of C language. We already said that C is a structure oriented language, and to write code in C we need a set of rules. That is, the first statement you need to write is the documentation section, and I'll explain about each and every section in detail. Firstly, you just see the structure of C language, and next header file section. Here we need to include the header files, global variable declarations, and here main function. And the starting of main function is indicated by using open curly brace, and within the function or after the indication of this main function, the first statement should be the declaration statement. Within any block or within any function, the first statement should be the declaration statement with respect to C language. And we can write all the executable codes that are required for our code, and this function should end with the closed curly brace. And now we already said that C is a collection of functions, so we can have n number of functions and whose syntax is return type followed by function name. The return type means what data that function is going to return. If the function is going to return any value, then it should specify that particular return type. For example, the function is going to return an integer value, it should specify the return type as int. If it returns float, then it should be a float return type. So if the function not going to return anything, then it need to specify void as its return type. See here, the main function is not going to return anything, hence I placed it as a void. And now we said that every function should start with an open curly brace and terminate with a closed curly brace. Within that we can write the body of a function. So you can have n number of functions. This is not mandatory. This is according to the program need. And now let us go for documentation section. See here, this documentation section we use comment lines. Comment lines is only used for the user understandability and to improve the readability of code. And in comments we have two type of comment lines. One is single line comment, another is multi-line comment. Single line comment is represented by this, and the multi-line comment is represented by this. Let us see. Here the multi-line comment starts with slash followed by asterisk, and we can have some lines of here, and again it should end with asterisk and slash. This is the multi-line comment. And in single line comment means it should only for single line. If we write here, then it's going to report an error. This only works for single line. It should not come to the next line. But in multi-line comment, this indicates the starting of a comment line and this indicates the ending of a comment line. Let's go back to the session. Now header file section. The header file in C language is, it contains the functionality of the function, constant, expressions, etc. and it is extended by .h extension. It contains the definition of every function. For example, in C we are going to use some functions like printf, scanf, etc. and those functionalities are in the header files. While writing the code, we need to invoke the header files into our program. Now the header files should be how to invoke an header file is by using #include statement. #include name of a header file name with the .h extension. This is how we invoke the header file in our C language. If we include this statement, then the functionalities present inside this header file will invoke into our program. And now global variables and local variables. The global variables are defined outside of a function and this can be accessed throughout the program. See, that is, we return many functions like main, function 1, function 2, etc. If we define a variable above all the functions, then it is said to be a global variable. It can be accessed throughout the code. And what a local variable means? The variables that are declared inside the function is known as local variables. See here, after include statement, if I write int a equal to 20, and should remember one thing is, should terminate with a semicolon. And we will write a function void main. Now here, if I need to include the local variable, see, this is declared outside of a function, hence it is a global variable. And this b is declared inside of a function, hence it is a local variable. For example, write another function void function 1. Let us assume it has some code. Void function 2. It is also having some code. Now, if I need to access a value in void main, it is possible because it is a global variable. So, this value is accessed throughout the program. So, in main function, I can access a value. Here also I can access a value and here also I can access the a value. If I'm going to try to change the value of b here, it reports an error like the b is not declared here because it is a local variable. Its scope means its alive time. Its time is only within this block from opening curly brace to closed curly brace. So this is the local variable lifetime is from the open curly brace to closed curly brace, whereas the global variable lifetime is throughout the program until the end of the code. Okay, now this is the difference between local and global variable. Main function. In C program, the main function is a user-defined function and having a predefined name. The main is already defined, and the functionality of main is not defined, and the functionality should be written by the user according to his wish, according to the program needs, you can write the functionality of that main function, but the name main is already defined. Remaining function names we are keeping as our wish, but the name of the main function is already defined. And in one C program, you can have at most one main function. We cannot have two or more main functions. We can have only one main function. And one more important thing is, we said that in C, the compilation takes place from top to bottom. So here the execution takes place from main function and it terminates within the main function itself. The open curly brace is used to say the starting of a function or any block. Closed curly brace is used to indicate closing of any function or block. The block means the set of code enclosed in closed and open curly braces. Now the Turbo C software. Here we use to execute the C code, we use Turbo C software. It is used to develop, compile, debug and execute a C program. And before going to the coding session, let us know about the printf statement. Printf statement is used to print the values onto the console screen. And it has a particular syntax, that return type. This is the return type of printf. And CDECL is the calling convention. We'll discuss about this calling convention in later session. At this point, you remember one thing, the CDECL is the calling conversions. That means how to invoke the parameters. Those are said in the CDECL. At this time, you just remember it is a calling conversion and printf return type is integer. And it has n number of parameters, among which the first is string. It accepts string, and from next to, it can be a variable, it can be a constant, it can be an expression, it can be a function calling statements, etc. But the first statement should be a string. See, and the functionality of printf statement is present inside the stdio.h header file. Stdio.h is a header file whose in this the printf functionality is present. And I already said it accepts n number of parameters and it is used to display output onto the console screen. So this is about the printf statement. Examples will be discussed in the next session.